Everyone, today we're going to continue with our next kingdom of Animalia. Okay, so in this subchapter, we'll learn about the worms. You have the flatworms, you have the roundworms, okay, and then you have the whipworms. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first worm is the platyhelminths or the flatworms. So these are animals which are flat, they're bilateral, and if you look at the bodies, they are flat, and by being flat, you know that inside they have no organs. So because they have no organs, they are an acoelomate. So they have some cephalization. Cephalus means head, so cephalization means that they have some head structure. Okay, and then the head structure is a little bit in the front there, right? So if you look at the bodies, it might look like they are soft, but they actually have muscle. The muscle is from the mesoderm. So they don't have any blood or skeletal system. So meaning that they don't have any blood, they don't have any lungs. So they take nutrient directly from the environment, and they take air or oxygen directly from the environment also. But surprisingly, they have a central nervous system, meaning that they actually have one area where a lot of nerve or neurons are assembled at. Not like exactly like a brain. It's kind of like a ganglia instead. Okay, so this one is another type of platyhelminth called the tapeworm. Okay, because the body looks like a tape. They are endoparasites. They live inside of the host. They have long flat body up to 10 meters, many segments. These segments are called proglottids, and each proglottids are a reproductive unit. So if you look at each one of the proglottids, these can create their own eggs. Okay, each part right here, okay, they can be independently creating eggs. Okay, so the front or anterior would have this head with a segment called scolex. Okay, this scolex is the thing that you call head. It is covered by a lot of hooks and suckers for attachment. So that's what it does. It doesn't have any eyes or mouth. It just has a sucker and hook, and then it will just attach itself into your intestines, and then they will just suck your nutrients directly from you. And they just lay eggs. That's all they do. Okay. Next will be nematodes. So nematoda or nematodes, they are the most common parasitic worms in the humans. So these are what's called the worms without the muscles. So they are bilaterally symmetric, and they are pseudocoelomate. They have some organs in it there. And digestive system is the only complete organ that they have. Okay, so they can digest whatever food that they eat. So unlike other worms, they only have longitudinal muscle, so they just thrash around left and right. They cannot move like earthworms. Okay. So for example, here you can see on this unfortunate patient, it is not noodles, it is actually Ascaris lumbricoides, or the giant roundworms. Okay, so these they're able to infest a human, and usually the major sign of infestation is that the baby or the child would feel itchy in the bottom. Okay, and they would kind of like they would scratch. And yeah, that's another avenue of it spreading is by orophycal pathway. So from the buttocks. Okay, it can also get to the mouth, because babies sometimes they don't wash their hands. Okay. Next will be annelids. Annelids, if you look at the name annulus means ring. So annelida means the ringed ones. Okay. So earthworms and leeches, they have ringed body. So they are called annelida. So they are bilateral coelomates. So mean that they actually have organs. And they are bilateral means that they are having both sides of the body. They are symmetrical from left to right. So they have parapodia. So parapodia is like some kind of like simple legs, okay, just for crawling and swimming, and the circulatory system is closed, meaning that they are not actually mixed with other fluids in the body, and they actually have blood. So if you kill a leech or kill an earthworm, they will bleed, okay, because they have closed circulatory system with blood. Okay. Next is mollusca. Mollusca is the clam, snail, and also squid. Okay. So mollusca is also a bilateral coelomate, meaning that they actually have organs. It's just that when you cook the clams, you probably would not see any organs, but they have complete organs. Okay. So they have a muscular foot, visceral mass, and mantle, and the sclerotism is open. They may be calciferous in terms of mantle. If you look at the clams, okay, the outer part of the shell is very hard, so it is calciferous. So the mantle is calciferous in clams. But for snails, okay, they are calciferous also. But for slugs they don't have it. Okay. Most have radula, which is a tongue, so you will scrape food particles, and they feed on plants, algae, and fungi. So this is the snail or gastropoda. Gastro means stomach, poda means leg. So they are the one that moves on their stomach. Okay, so they are the largest group. They're the only mollusca that lives on land, and most of them have spiral shells. So how do they look like inside? They have all the organs. This is the mouth, and then they have stomach, intestine, and then all the way to the anus. And then they have the gills on the back, and then the heart. Okay, and then they have also the nephridium as a kidney, and a coelom. Okay, and then they also have nerve cords right here. Okay, so next will be bivalvia, or two valves. So they're able to suck in the water through a valve, and it will spit from another valve. Okay, so there are two valves. If you can see here, 1 and 2. These are the two valves of the bivalves. Okay, so bivalves, they are suspension feeders. They have a hinged shell that divide into two halves. They use the foot, they look like tongues right here. Okay, the foot to dig into and anchor to surface. So if they want to really run fast, they can squirt water by using the valves. And some species can produce pearls. So the thing about pearls is that all pearls are actually originating from like a rock or a debris that somehow ended up in their mouths. So these clams, when they close their mouth, they would slowly encode or encase the debris or rock that is within the mouth with the pearl layer. So after many years, there's a lot of layers, and they become a totally shiny and smooth, round pearl. Okay, so yeah, pearls usually they start as garbage first, and then it takes many years for pearls to be created. Okay, next, cephalopoda. Cephalo means head, poda means foot. So they have head foot. So cephalopoda are the squid family, including octopus and cuttlefish. Okay, they are carnivorous and they move by jet propulsion. They are more advanced than bivalves. So the foot has evolved into tentacles, and there are two subclasses. You have the Coleoida and Nautiloida. Coleoida is the one that has internal shell or reduced shell. Okay, if you look at them, they look like they don't have any shell at all, except for the bone inside. But Nautiloida is the one that has a shell. Okay, like the one on top here is Nautiloida, and the one below, the squids, octopus, cuttlefish, they all have internal shell called Coleoida. Next, Arthropoda, insects, spider, crabs, and etc. So Arthropoda, if you look at the name, arthro means segmented, poda means leg. So Arthropoda, segmented leg. Okay. So Arthropoda is the largest phylum of animals. So they are bilateral and they are coelomate, so they have all of the complete organs. They are segmented, head, thorax, and abdomen usually. So they have jointed appendages, catenate skeleton, and grow via ecdysis. So as a skeleton that makes up the armor out of the body, okay, they are chitinous. They are made out of chitin, and they grow via ecdysis, mean that they have to change their skin. They have to get out of the old skin and then breathe in, and then let the new skin regrow on the body. So that's what's called ecdysis. So they have open circulatory system, which is all of the fluids are mixed together in the body. And subphyla, we have Cheliceratta, Okay, something that has the foot or feeding appendages near the mouth. Crustacea, anything that has a shell outside, just like crabs. Myriapoda are the one with many legs. Myria means a lot. Hexapoda are the six-legged. Okay, so Arachnida, it is under Chelicerata. So why do you call it Chelicerata? Because near the mouth there is two appendages. Okay, so Arachnida or the spiders have 4 pairs of legs, 2 extra from the regular insects. Okay, so arachnid do not have any antenna. Arachnid do not have any wings. Arachnid don't have jaw, but they have chelicera. Okay, so chelicera would allow them to eat. And arachnid, they don't metamorphosize. Okay, after they are hatched from the egg, they would look like that, okay, like a spider with 8 legs, and they will just grow up into a slightly bigger version of itself. Okay, it doesn't change the shape. Then Merosomata, this one has only 4 known species. There's the marine Chelicerata. We call it the horseshoe crab. In Malay we call it blancas. Okay, they are usually found in pairs. So the mouth is surrounded by the legs. Okay. So here is a Myriapoda. Myriapoda means many legs. So you have the Cyclopoda, centipedes, and Diplopoda, which is millipedes. Cyclopoda or centipedes, they have if you look at the name, centi means 100, so 100 legs. Okay, so they have flattened body and move very fast. Okay, if you have seen them in toilet, okay, they move very fast, sometimes too fast that it surprises you. Okay, they will have 1 pair of legs per body segments, and they are carnivorous. They eat other animals, they eat other insects, they even eat other centipedes. Okay, Diplopoda or millipedes, rounded body, slow moving. If you can look at this GIF right here, okay, it really moves slow, and it has 2 pairs of legs per body segment, so it's like 4 legs per segment. Okay, so unlike the centipedes, millipedes are not meat eaters. They are herbivorous. Okay, they just eat plants. So if you wanna keep them in your terraria, okay, your aquarium with some dirt inside, you can just give them lettuce and then they will eat it. Okay, it's just that sometimes if they are bothered, they would curl up in a ball and they would stink. Okay, that's why some people call it the ulat busuk or the stinky worm. Okay, next will be crustacea. Crustacea are the ones with armor, like crabs, lobsters, prawns. Okay, all of these are crustaceans. They have antenna, and then which is 2 pairs, and most are mobile except barnacles. So the thing is, if you look at crabs have crabs can move, crabs have claw, but barnacles are like crabs but inside out. Okay, so if you look at barnacles, you might think that, oh, it's just a rock. It is just like a rock that is on a surface. But really, if you put a foot near them, suddenly there will be like something coming out and grabbing the foot, put it back inside. Because barnacles is actually crustacea, but it is not mobile. It is actually hidden within that tough armor. Okay, next will be the one that we call insects, which are the hexapoda, the 6-legged, the most successful group, many variety of shape, but generally have 3 pairs of legs, and they are the only arthropod that has wings. Sometimes they don't have wings, sometimes they have. Okay, next we move to the echinodermata or the starfishes. Okay, so if you look at the name echinodermata, echino means porcupine or very pointy or sharp. Okay, dermata means skin, so it's like very sharp skin. So echinodermata are sea stars. Their sessa are all slow moving, and they are usually bilateral coelomate. So they have organs, and they are kind of arranged in a radial shape. Okay, no, sorry, it's not really radial. They look radial, but yeah, the organs are actually bilateral. Okay, so they also have a madrepora to regulate water intake, and they have no blood at all. They just have a water vascular system. So when you squish them, water will come out. And what about the endoskeleton? So the thing is, if you look at the bodies have outer skeleton, and it is made out of calcium. Okay, for us, okay, we have our bones similarly made out of calcium. So they are kind of like us. We have bones which are made out of calcium. Okay, similar to them. Okay, so if you can see the physiology of echinodermata, middle is where the stomach is, and then you have the glands in the each one of the legs. Then one of them you have the gonads, one you have the radial canal, okay, and then underneath the starfish there's a mouth, and also madreporite. Madreporite is on top, okay, and then you have the ampulla and podium, and under you have the tube feet. Okay, so here are examples of echinoderms. You have the sea star, brittle star. Okay, so brittle star have very long. In this case, they don't actually look like a star at all. The stars, the arms of the stars have become like tentacles instead. Sea urchin, feather star. Okay, if you have seen a gif of them moving, very graceful. Sea cucumber, or what we call in Malaysia called gamat, holoturida. And lastly, the sea daisy. Okay, concentric cycloidea. Okay, it will just spin around. All of them are echinoderms, so mean that all of them have a calcium-based bone. Okay, final chordata, which is vertebrate and some invertebrate. Okay, so chordata means having a spinal cord. So it means every one of these have a backbone. Okay, so all of these are bilateral. Some of them you have invertebrate chordates like lanceolate and tunicates. So lanceolate and tunicates, they are the simplest type of chordata. They don't actually have a spinal cord. Okay, but they have like something that is similar to spinal cord. Okay, so it's like a very long nerve that goes from the head to the tail, but they don't evolve to have bones yet. Okay, so key characteristic, you have notochord, hollow nerve cords, pharyngeal slits, and post-anal tail. Okay, so here is how all of the chordates look like at one stage of their lives. Okay, so for humans, when do we actually look like this? When we are a fetus. So after we become zygote, right? The sperm and the ovum meet. They have ball of cells, and then you have the blastula. Okay, so after becoming a neurula, it will form this type of shape: a long nerve cord, a brain in one end, mouth, and then some slits, and then a muscle segments, and a tail which is extending after the anus. Okay, so every chordata, they will look like this at one time in their life cycle. Okay, so if you can see this is the difference between different type of animals which are chordates. So chordates, when they are still in the womb, all of them have this general shape: eyes, and then the head, and then some nubs for the legs, and then like long tail. So no matter if it is fish, salamander, tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, rabbit, or human, they all have this same shape. But soon after, in the development, they start to differentiate. Okay, fish will become longer. Okay, no arm and legs. Salamander will have this organ for the gills. Tortoise, the head will be large, and then there's like a small nubs for leg here. Chicken, also the same. Pig, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cow also 4 nubs. Human also 4. And then after a while, it becomes so different from each other. Tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, all of them have become different, although all of them have same type of shape when they are younger. Okay. So vertebrata must have skull here to protect the brain. Vertebral column, which is this vertebrae, the backbone that surrounds the spinal cord, and the neural crest. Neural crest will be the cell that give rise to various distinct structures. So neural crest usually is found near the head, and that neural crest will be the cells that form your jaw, your teeth, your skull, your sensory capsules, and others. Okay, so that's why you have a face, because of the neural crest. Okay, fishes, they are from the class either chondrichthyans or osteichthyans. Chondrichthyans are the sharks and rays, manta ray. Okay, these type of animals, they have very soft bone, which is cartilage. But the fish that we eat usually are the one with a bony skeleton. Okay, the bones are so stiff, right? If you eat them, you choke. Okay, so these are called ostrich ties. Okay, so they molt, they shed all skin, and then they have well-developed lungs, okay, in terms of gills, teeth to grab but not to chew, and they are ectothermic, so they have to absorb the heat. If it is too cold, they probably will not be as active. Okay, amphibia means both ways of life. They live in water and then on land. So first stage is herbivore, second stage is carnivore. So they require moist environment at all times. They cannot be dry. So they actually can exchange gas through the skin to complement the lungs. And the eggs would lack a shell, so meaning that they need water, else they will escape quickly. They will slowly dry off. Okay, so that's why they live near water. Without water, they cannot live at all. Okay. Class Reptilia. Unlike amphibians, these contain scales made out of keratin. So keratin is like what? It's like our fingernails. Okay, so it protects the body from desiccation and abrasion. So you have lizards, snakes, and crocodiles. All of those are reptiles. And also you have the body is ectothermic. Similar to fish, they will absorb the surrounding heat as body heat. Okay, so a little bit higher than reptile will be birds. So the thing is, reptiles and birds, they both share the same ancestor. Okay, they both came from the dinosaur and raptor. It's just that birds have evolved to have feathers and beaks, and they are able to fly. Reptiles, they just want to stay on the ground. Okay, but both of them at one point are combined together as one. Okay, so birds, because now they are so evolved compared to their brothers, which is reptiles, they are endothermic. Okay, they can produce their own heat. They have feathers made of keratin, and then they have hollow bones. Okay, mean that they are light. Mean that if you look at birds, right, the bones easily break. Why? Because inside there is a lot of empty space that makes them light. Okay, and then you have strong chain muscle for flapping wings. Okay, so it enables them to fly, which is a very good advantage. Okay, so here is their ancestor. Okay, you can see this thing right here, it's both reptile and bird. So this used to be a reptile, but after many years of evolution, it grows a lot of feathers and also a pair of wings. So this thing right here has a tooth beak, an airfoil wing. Okay, but they have wing claw. So this claw is for still reptile. Okay, long-tailed vertebrae is also reptile, but still they have the feathers like a bird. But as you know, the birds nowadays, the modern birds, they have lost this wing claw. They just have like just a bone. Okay, and the tooth beak now has just become beak without any teeth. Okay, have you seen any bird with teeth? Okay, probably only geese or duck, but other birds don't have teeth. Okay, what about the tail? The tail usually don't have many vertebrae. Usually, if you look at birds, the tail is just a lot of feathers, and then it's like very short. Okay. Class Mammalia. So mammals, they have mammary glands to nourish the young. Endothermic. So they create their own heat due to metabolism. Okay. So mammals have hair and fat layer on the skin as insulators and conserve water. Mammals have kidney and also 4-chambered heart. So this actually makes the mammals able to despite their large size, they are able to live and send a lot of these oxygen and nutrients to the whole body, okay, very efficiently. So that's the end of the Animalia chapter. See you again for the next chapter.